Petty Azzarello, good morning.
Hello.
Right after Labor Day. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me this morning. I just wanted to kind of take us back. A couple of months ago, you were kind enough to come and talk to my leadership team, and we covered a lot of topics. One of the challenges that we posed was, Petty, we have a big team, they're global, time zones, and everyone's in a different location. How do you create more of a culture in that kind of an environment? How do you get people to feel closer? Certainly the people that work from home, but even the people that are between offices. And you had kind of an interesting solution that has to do with what we're doing now. So if you can talk a little bit about that and what you advise your clients, that'd be great.
Yeah, I tell you, so many clients come to me and they say we're having problems with cross-functional communication, cross-organizational, global, regional. We're just not communicating well enough. And there's one thing that makes a bigger difference than any other thing you could choose, and it's to simply turn your cameras on and use video conferencing. And it's funny because there's such a resistance to it. But if you want to improve how an organization communicates, it's your biggest win. Simply turn your cameras on.
And a lot of things can happen when you turn your cameras on. My phone just went off, by the way.
Right.
And is that a mop that I see right behind you?
Oh,
And
yes,
then
you caught me.
missing tile on the kitchen floor. I'm guessing it's the kitchen. And also, I'm noticing that you're not necessarily dressed up for a business meeting. And so I know a lot of people out there are worried about how they'll show up and what's behind them. Kids are running around, dogs are barking. Is that an issue from your experience?
It's an issue only at the very first moments. And what I learned is that nobody actually cares. And there's so much more value in just being willing to show up. And I know for me and everyone I talk to, there has been a moment in their journey of adopting video conferencing where they were all dressed up and then they saw on their screen somebody that looked like me. And they're like, wow, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. And I had that experience myself. And so I think the biggest aha here is that just because you turn a camera on does not mean you need to be camera ready.
Mm.
Just sort of because we get this idea in our head that camera ready, you have to be, presentable like you're on a stage where, everything has to be perfect. And the reality couldn't be further from the truth, because when you're willing to just show up however you are, it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of engagement. And after the first instant, nobody cares what you're wearing or what you look like because they're just interacting with you. And that deeper interaction is that it's the solution to this issue of why aren't we communicating better?
That's a very good point. And I'm actually in TV anchor mode, but it is Austin, Texas, and it's August or September, actually, not August. And I am wearing shorts. I will not expose that to the camera, but that's really the only way you can get around in this area. And your point is well taken. The physical connection, the body language, even the informality of video could be a great way for people to connect better.
I had a mentor who once told me, you can't have the second meeting before you have the first meeting. And that seems so like stupid and simple, but there's a profoundness to it that the first time you interact with somebody, you're just sort of getting a feel for each other.
Mm.
And then by the time you get to the second meeting, you can work, you can connect, you can do stuff. And what I find is that if you don't turn your camera on, you never have the first meeting. Like you never get to that richer level of interaction with somebody
It's a
just
very
on
good.
the phone.
It's a very good point. And I think it also helps when you do meet them in person. You get that familiarity feeling that you may not have if you just talk to them over the phone. And if you do it even after you met somebody for the first time, then the continuity of that relationship tends to be a lot better and a lot smoother.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Patty, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and try it and kind of get my leadership team. We tried it a few times. I think we want to kind of push it out to the teams. And I really believe it can help us become a better team and get the better outcome. So it's such a simple and trivial solution. And again, the point there is don't feel that you need to be perfect when you're on camera.
Yes. Don't feel like you need to be camera ready just because there's a camera there. Just show up.
Patty, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks, Sar.
Bye.
Bye.